Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome back to Balaji Data Engineering Solutions. So today we are in the interview series 3. So today we will go to the most common question in interviews. So what are the activities we do have in Azure Data Factory and what is the use of it? Okay, so we will go each and every activity explanation. So in the foremost activity, and which is the most important activity and the frequent activity we are using, right? So that is the copy activity. So copy activity itself, you can see in the name only we have that copyright. So basically it will copy the data from source to the destination. I mean, we may have the different sources as we already discussed, right? So we may have the SQL, or maybe may have the any data lake and blob storages, or any source it is, like we are going to copy the data from source to the sink. So how we are going to copy it, right? So here we, if you see the options source and sink, right? So in the source option we have to select our source, and the sink tab we have to select the what is our the sink. So finally, so the copy activity is nothing but the, so it will copy the data from one source to the a destination. Basically we may connect with the different sources and different destination. It may be including the SQL databases or any other Azure blob storages, data lake and more. And basically we can use whenever we are performing the any activities and any transformations also, this copy activity is the most important activity, and it will support the batch and incremental copy. I mean, if we see in the interview series 2, so there we have seen the difference between the full load and incremental load, right? So it's simply I can explain again. So full load is, it's a first time whenever we are dumping the data to the from source to the target, that is the full load. And incremental load is nothing but the, we are copying, or we are loading the only new or updated records instead of dumping the full load. Okay, so copy activity is simply it will copies the data from source to the destination. Okay, fine. So next activity is the Databricks notebook activity. So a Databricks notebook activity is nothing but the, so we are using Azure Data Factory as a ETL tool, right? So we have Azure Databricks. In the Azure Databricks we are performing the different transformation. So how we have done the transformation in the Databricks, and we have the built our pipeline in the Azure Data Factory. So how to make the connection, I mean to say, how we can call Azure Databricks from Azure Data Factory. So for that purpose we have to use this notebook activity. So what it will do, this Databricks notebook activity, it will helps us to run our Databricks notebook within our ADF pipeline. I mean, once we have performed all the data transformation and the task whatever we have did, right? So by using this activity, so we can do that. So even though after that we can parameterize our notebooks and everything we can do. And also to connect with our any ADLS or any storage locations to Databricks, again we have the mount point. This is the another topic we will see in the a further session. So simply Databricks notebook activity is nothing but the, whenever if you want to call even Databricks notebook from ADF, you have to use this notebook activity. Okay, so next we do have the get metadata activity. So this is also one of the important activity we will use. So this get metadata activity is nothing but the, whenever if you want to retrieve the metadata information. So metadata is nothing but the, so for example you are retrieving the data from your source, you may have the a multiple files and multiple tables. So those are, we can call it as the metadata, data about the data. So to retrieve those metadata information from our data source, we can use the get metadata activity. So we can we may retrieve the information file size we can retrieve, file type we can retrieve, and any column names and different we can retrieve. So if you see here field list, right? So this field list are the, it's nothing but the options it will provide. So basically get metadata will provide the different options. Those are the item name and item type, size of the file, and lost to modified date, I mean when the file got lost modified, and child items. So child items is nothing but the, so it will list the subfolders and files. So whatever we do have, for example, you have the like a sales folder. So if we use the child items, right, so it will give the what are the files were there in that given folder. So those values it will give. If we use the item name, it will give that folder or file names. Item type means it will give the what type of the file or folder it is. And also if we use the lost modifier, right, so it will give the that particular file or folder when it got modified in the last time. So these are the options it will give. And one more option we have, exist, like if you want to check either file is exist or not from the source, right, so if we use the exist, so in the get metadata field list, it will help. So if you can see that, so these are the majorly focus on the get metadata activity. So simply it will retrieve the metadata information. Okay, so then coming to the lookup activity. So this lookup activity is nothing but like once you have read the metadata, so you have stored the metadata information in the get metadata activity, right. So to retrieve this metadata of the from the source, right, so we can use this lookup activity. So this lookup activity will be used to query the data, basically, or from the any database. So it will retrieve the data, so we can use to retrieve that particular reference value. So what are the parameters it is using, and what are the lookup data, everything it will give. So these are the lookup activity. If you see here, so it have the some row limit. Basically, whenever we are retrieving this metadata, right, so this lookup activity will return only 5000 rows. I mean, it will give set of values only first to 5000 rows it will be written. This is also one of the important interview question. They may ask like what are the row limit for the lookup activity. So it will return the up to 5000 rows. Okay, these are the limitations we do have the in the lookup activity. And we do have the for each activity. So for each is nothing but the whenever as we already take an example of the sales data here, so we may have the 10 files, or we may have the 20 files. Whenever if you want to iterate the files one by one, and if you can go with the parallel or batch wise also by using this for each activity. Okay, so basically if you want to iterate the file, so what your requirement, I have the 10 files in my lookup activity. I want pass the one by one file, not at a time. If you want to iterate one by one file, then you can use this for each activity to reiterate the files. And also if you want to batch count, I mean at a time, if you want to dump all the files also, you can use this for each activity, so to iterate this file. So here also the default parallel processing limit for the for each activity is 50 iterations only. So first time whenever you are dumping, meaning 50 items will be processed simultaneously, I mean at a time. Okay, and also one more interview question they may ask, is nested for each is possible by using this for each activity? No, we cannot nest a for each activity inside another for each activity. So then how can you achieve means, so for that we can use the execute pipeline activity. So what is execute pipeline activity? So we can see in the next activity. Okay, so we have the a stored procedure activity. So the stored procedure activity is nothing but, so we may have the different SQL queries, and we may have the different SQL logics we have written, right. So if you want to use, I mean if you want to execute that particular complex queries, and if you want to perform that any a SQL operations if you want to perform, so this stored procedure activity will be helpful. So basically this activity will use to execute the stored procedures in a relational database. I mean, so here also we can use the parameters also to retrieve that for further pipeline. So especially we will use for to call the complex SQL logic within our pipeline. And also if you want to perform the transformation, such as the, like if you want to do the any data cleansing and data validations, right? So by using this stored procedure activity will be useful. So if activity is nothing but the, if you want to execute one or more activities based on a condition. So if you have the like condition, if this successful only, so I need to process the further step. So if it is fails, I need to stop this action here. I mean it will so based on the some expressions, it will work either true or false. So simply if condition activity will be execute one or more activities based on a condition. So it will take the expressions like true or false. Based on the evaluation condition, it will work. So then coming to the web activity we do have. So this web activity is nothing but the, so sometimes we will use the REST APIs also source. So if you observe in the so our project explanation, we have seen already, we may have the sources like different sources, like maybe on-prem SQL Server or on-prem Oracle and REST APIs, and like that we have seen, right? So if you want to use the those REST APIs, right? if you if you want to call that HTTP action, so we have to use the web activity. So this web activity will basically, it will make the HTTP request. I mean simply I can say those are the REST API calls, I mean to say, from any other systems or from any other services, we can use this web activity. So here again we do have the like a kind of the methods like get method, post method, put method and delete method. So basically to integrate with our external web services or any APIs, right? So we can use the web activity. And if you remember, I said nested for each is not possible by using the for each activity. For that I have already told, so we have to use the execute pipeline activity. So this execute pipeline activity is nothing but the, so it will helps to allow the one pipeline to invoke the another pipeline. I mean we can, if you see here, we do have the invoke pipeline option we do have, right? So already we have built the one pipeline, that is we can call as master pipeline or parent pipeline we can call. So if you want to so call those in the child pipeline, so there you have the option like invoke pipeline. Whenever if you want to use the multiple kind of the pipeline inside the pipeline, if you want to use, so then we can use the execute pipeline activity by invoking the another pipeline within the current pipeline. This is also one of the important a topic and interview questions, I can say. So we will see in detail and further. So if you need any guidance to crack the interview, please contact us. So I have already given the mail ID in the description, channel description. So basically here we will give the full guidance about it. So or else if you want to any topic, if you want to discuss, and if you want more explanation, kindly comment on below also. Thanks for watching our video.